When you open the CBT-I Coach app, this is the home screen. You want to click on Sleep Diary to make a new entry. This is also where you can go to see past entries. So you'll notice that there's a sleep summary here, which has a graph. The graph is starting to plot your various entries. Below the graph is a list of your entries for the last 7 days. So we have 2 entries here on January 10th and January 11th. You can click on those and you can edit them if you need to. Go through, make an edit, and then hit save again. And you'll come back to this screen. And then when you want to make a new entry, you'll click down here, add new entry. We're going to go through an entry together, and starting with the date at the top, the date should always be today's date. So you are making an entry today, that's what it's recording. It's recording the date that you are actually recording in your diary, and we are thinking about yesterday's sleep. So you'll notice the language in question 1. Did you nap or doze yesterday? So even though the date at the top is for today, it's asking you about yesterday's sleep that started with any naps during the day and then your overnight sleep. So let's go through these questions together. Question 1, did you nap or doze yesterday? I'm going to say yes. I took a 25-minute nap. We're going to say that. Question 2, what time did you get into bed yesterday? This is what time you physically got into bed, not necessarily what time you were ready to fall asleep. So we're going to say 11 p.m. for question 2. What time did you try to go to sleep? So if you tend to get into bed and read or watch TV, then maybe these 2 times are different, but oftentimes these are the same. So we're going to leave this at 11 p.m. because we got into bed and we immediately were ready to go to sleep. Question 4, how long did it take you to fall asleep? So this is always going to be a guess. I don't want you to be vigilant about the clock or trying to remember at the time, how long is this taking me to fall asleep? It's something that you're going to reflect back on and just guess the next day. So how long did it take you to fall asleep? We're going to say it took about 15 minutes last night. Question 5 is asking, how many times did you wake up not counting your final awakening? So this is a very important part of this question. How many times did you wake up in the night not counting your final awakening? So it does not matter what time this occurred. It doesn't matter if it was 2 a.m. or 6 a.m. If you fell back to sleep, then we are always going to count that as a middle of the night awakening. So let's say last night we had 2 awakenings. One of them was in the middle of the night to use the restroom for about 5 minutes. The other one was at 6 a.m. for an hour, and then we fell back asleep. So for that second part of question 5, where it says how long did these awakenings last, that would be an hour and 5 minutes. We're adding those 2 awakenings together. Question 6 is asking, what time was your final awakening? So in this example, let's say that we wanted to wake up at 8 a.m., okay? So we had a middle of the night awakening at 6 a.m. We were awake for an hour, but we fell back to sleep at 7 and slept until 8. So then I would choose 8 a.m. as my final awakening, and I wanted to wake up at 8. So it says, did you wake up earlier than you desired? No. I would say no, because I did fall back asleep and I woke up when I wanted to, when my alarm went off at 8. Sometimes this trips people up. People will say, yes, I woke up earlier than I desired because I had that 6 a.m. wake up. We don't need to say that here because you did wake up at 8 a.m. and we have already logged that early morning or that middle of the night awakening, that 6 a.m. awakening here. What time did you get out of bed? Again, this is physically what time did you get out of the bed. So let's say we got out of bed right away. Our alarm went off at 8. We got out of bed at 8. How would you rate your quality of sleep? If you click on these faces, you'll see that there are descriptions. We're going to say that this was fair. And then finally, there's a section for comments, and you can type anything in there that you think would be relevant for me to know, and then click save. So now you'll see the graph has plotted this night of sleep here on the 12th, and it's also listed here under the last 7 days. If I need to go in and edit something, again, I can click on it, I can click edit and save. Also from this screen is where you will send your diary to me. So up here, you would click on this arrow and it will give you the option to email it, and you would email it to me at Kristy, Kristy, at sunlittherapy.com, and that should be sent to me the morning of our appointments. So to get to this screen, just so you know, you would click on Sleep Diary from that home screen. So Sleep Diary, that's where you're going to see that graph. You're going to see your entries from the past 7 days. It's also where you can add a new entry and where you can click to send your diary to me.